أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم ففهمنا سليمان وكلنا آتينا حكما وعلما رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم سبحانك اللهم وحنانيك اللهم لا تنسني ولا تنسني الحمد لله أفضل الحمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله وسائر نبيين وصالحين وسلم أن موفقني واهدني وسددني واجمع لي بين الصواب والثواب وعذني من الخطأ والهرمان آمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another episode of Questions and Answers. I'm your host, Amjad Muhammad, and I will be with you for what remains to be about 40 odd minutes or so as we reach up to 8 p.m. We were absent yesterday because there was a death in the family of one of the team, and as a consequence, he's the key man. And without him, obviously, the show just cannot carry on. But we are here today, alhamdulillah. So, we will be here tomorrow. And I will speak about tomorrow shortly because it's a very different program altogether. I will be here, but it will be slightly different. So I will discuss that when I've made my introductions. Questions, obviously, you need to call in. The number to dial is 01274 214 299. That's 01274 214 299. Please get on your call straight away because we have short segments, a slight delay in the start today. So please take advantage of this because they will be open to questions and answers tomorrow, but the questions will be specific for business related only. So this is the day to take advantage of the open questions and answers, as we will have specific questions and answers tomorrow. But again, more about tomorrow's show shortly. So that was the number, 01274 214 299. We also have an email address, and that is q&a@iqra.tv. That's q&a@iqra.tv. So please get your questions in nice and early so that we can meet your needs, especially today before tomorrow. What's happening tomorrow? Well, let me tell you. You should have already been getting regular adverts throughout the day on Iqra TV, myself speaking, informing you about the program on Friday. And the program on Friday is going to be about business generally, about Muslims' involvement in business and what it means and the difficulty that Muslims face in particular when we're trying to do business. Because we look at the contract laws and we look at the contracts and they're long 15, 20-page contracts, and it's very difficult to look at all these terms and conditions, all these stipulations and all these clauses and sub-clauses. We're scratching our heads and scratching our chins trying to work out, is this halal? And at the end of the day, it just seems so confusing. We just think, well, it'll be all right, inshallah. Because we don't know no better. Gone are the days when contracts were very simple, ijab, kabul, and that's it. Now we live in a world of, claim and counterclaim and people trying to position themselves advantageously in a contract. So you see all this litigation and all these laws and things that people are frightened about. So therefore they make these long-winded, complicated contracts and sign people up to them. And then when you do try to jump out, you always get told, sorry, you can't. You are obliged by your contract to carry on for another 6 months or a year. So business is what we'll be speaking about. Particularly, we'll be looking at a new payment processing facility that we have started, and that will be in particular what we will be talking about. But that's just to get into this whole area. I will be having a number of guests in the studio and possibly via a Zoom link as well, those who can't make it into the studio, because for some the distance is going to be too much. We've got a couple people coming in, I know that, at least a couple, and the others, as I said, will be joining us through Zoom because of the fact that they're too distant to travel to Bradford. So that's one thing. So we'll have different guests. And also, as I said to you, the topic will be particularly about business. So any questions that you have tomorrow, please make sure that they're business related so that at least it keeps that same subject matter going. The show will be longer than usual. So it will start roughly the same time as it does, about 10 past, 7:15 after the news, I think it is. And it will carry on till about 9 p.m. So it's a much longer show, lots of talking. I better charge myself up so that I can speak long. Anyway, we have a caller who's called in. The number they've dialed is 01274 214 299. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear caller.
Walaikum Assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Just sometimes we have issues in society which, like everybody so much, and like even scholars, they find themselves helpless. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you, sister.
Mm, um, why don't we get together and do meetings on these kind of issues when there is division between, like in the society, and you kill your ego for the sake of Islam, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you don't fight for your own ego and your own position, but fight for the sake of Islam, get together, and we should have, like, there was, when there was attack on Ukraine, the whole media explosion in the whole world, that how many human crises happened, but there was not even one single media who show the Syrians, who show the Iraqis, and anybody, how much Muslims are suffering in the world. How you can see from your own eyes today that there is a big media everywhere. They're showing how much human crisis, and even we feel like crying for those people, like displaced, and how they're suffering and everything. And the same way it happened to Muslim countries, but nobody realized, nobody's shown any sympathy.
No, good point. Jazakumullah khair for that, sister. I'll discuss that shortly. It's a very valid point. I, in fact, raised this point with people around me. I think what gets me is, the shock that, that this was not expected. This should be expected. We speak, the Prophet ﷺ, that this ummah is like one body. And when one part of this ummah pains, then the whole body pains. So like you might have a toothache, and the tooth might be one tooth in your gum, but it keeps you awake all night, keeps the whole body awake, keeps the foot awake, keeps the leg, knees, hands, heart, everything is alert because of this one pain in the tooth, one in the gum, one tooth here in the gum, and that whole body is awake. Or you have something in your eye, and your eye is paining and it's hurting. So this one eye is keeping the whole body awake. It's keeping you disturbed. You can't sleep. You can't rest. You're concerned about it. So this is how an ummah should be. But our ummah isn't like that. Like the sister mentioned, in fact, when you look at the Western, the white community particularly, they are a proper ummah. All the media has come together. We've seen Russia being excluded from sporting events. The Champions League, the football Champions League, was going to take place in St. Petersburg. That's been cancelled now. It's now taking place in Paris. The Russian Grand Prix has had their contract terminated, so there won't be a Russian Grand Prix. The sportsmen and women from the Paralympics are being excluded, those who are Russian. And this is no fault of theirs. What have they done? So this is a completely indiscriminate boycott against anything that's Russian. The Russian wealthy millionaires and billionaires are getting their assets frozen here in the UK and in the rest of Europe. Whether Roman Abramovich is selling Chelsea as a result of that or not, we don't know, but that's happening as well. So there's so many things going on and so much power being exercised by the Western world because white people, Ukrainians, white people are being affected by it. And when it's brown people, Syrians, Palestinians, Iraqis, Afghanis, then there doesn't seem to be that same uproar. Black people, there doesn't seem to be the same. Why are we surprised? Why are we surprised? We hear time and time again that the Metropolitan Police has issues with regards to racism in there. We hear time and time again here in Yorkshire, for example, the Yorkshire Cricket Club. I'm in Yorkshire, where we found the Yorkshire cricketer, saying that there was racism. And there was still denial, even though, he was claiming racism and a report was carried out and the report was was covered up, and then eventually the Yorkshire Cricket Club realised that it will not be tolerated, and they literally sacked everybody in the Yorkshire Cricket Club, virtually. We see footballers taking the knee in just before a Premier League football game starts for equality. But how much change is that really making in society? How much is that really making a difference in society? Unfortunately, this has been going on for millennia, for a long time, where we find that those people with blonde hair, blue eyes, white skin are given a preference over people with brown eyes, black hair, and brown skin. That's always been the case. And there are many people within those circles who are trying to make a difference. And, we should give them support and thank them. But I say, look, let's not look at and blame others. We are a sizable community. We are a sizable ummah. And that's why, I do take my time out to come on to Iqra TV. Because Iqra TV is one of those which is saying, look, you keep saying the media is saying this, the media is saying that. We have our own media. Iqra TV, alhamdulillah. May Allah bless the founders and all those who work on it. This is so that there's an alternative view, so that the world isn't always looked through white eyes, that the world isn't always looked through blue eyes, that the world is also looked through brown eyes, so that there's an equality. And that doesn't mean that we should counterbalance wrong with wrong. No, absolutely not. We should give equal exposure, equal news about white or brown people, or black people for that matter, who are being oppressed, abused, killed or attacked. Because Muslims are supposed to be the people who stand up for all colours, all people. That's what makes us different. Everybody stands for their own nation. That's nothing special. The English will stand up for the English. The French will stand up for the French. The Belgians will stand up for Belgium. They will always do that. There's no problem in that regard. Sorry, did you say calls here? Yeah, so that's clearly there, and we understand that, inshallah. So jazakumullah khair for that, sister. So let's take some questions here. So we have a question here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Is it permissible to pay a church rental agreement to use the premises for establishing salah in congregation? Note the church is only active on Sundays for a few hours and on festivals. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, it is permissible to pay a church a rental agreement to use the premises for establishing salah. Obviously, the same conditions would apply if it was any area, any room, any building, and that would be no imagery, no statues, the place obviously being clean, and being able to pray towards Qibla. So whatever sharait, whatever conditions are required for praying in any place, a warehouse, an office, an open space, anywhere for that matter, the same conditions will apply. So if we can't find a place within the church where there's no imagery, there's no pictures, there's no anything else, then in that same way, we can obviously pray our salah and obviously have an agreement in place to be able to use the church at particular times in the day. Next question. Oh, this is a bit detailed. Assalamu alaikum Ufsab and team. Jazakumullah khairan for your efforts. Nothing we can say will be enough, but we sleep comfortably knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will compensate you all appropriately in the akhirat. I have a question, if you will be so kind to look into. The question is, what is our stance on buying future contracts, shorting and longing the market? Is there a difference of opinion? Okay, that's quite a detailed question. We've got a minute and a half, so I'll come back to that another time, inshallah. And because we've got a minute and a half, I don't know if I can even squeeze another question in, but let's read it at least so then we can be prepped for it after the break. The question is, Assalamu alaikum to all. I hope you're all well. I have a question regarding a facial moisturizer. It contains hyaluronic acid. This could be derived from animal, plant, or synthetic means. My question is, must we be certain of the ingredients, i.e. to ensure they are plant or synthetic, as we would assume animal would be haram? Or does it not matter for face creams? Jazakumullah khair in advance for your response and the effort you are all making with this very valuable service. I apologize for any lack in my etiquette. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We thank you for your kind words and your du'as. May Allah bless you likewise. Anything which is from animal basis, you are quite right to assume that it's most likely not going to be from a halal source. If that is the case, then no, we would not be able to use it as a face cream. So what we would do is we would need to determine if it is plant or synthetic. If we can determine that it is plant or synthetic, then that is absolutely fine. If it is from an animal source, then we cannot use it. And usually if it is from an animal source, then it will be a non-halal one, because for the general public, that's the situation that we are in, unless a Muslim supplier or a Muslim manufacturer has made it, or you find the vegetarian or vegan sign somewhere on it to say that obviously it is not animal based. That brings us to the end of the first session. We're going to take a short break. I thought we won't be able to answer that, but we have, and we will return shortly. Join me in a few minutes' time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.